Hello, and welcome to this ARWO Liquid Knowledge webinar on canine water leak detection. Thank you for joining us. My name is Gina Veazey, and I'm with ARWO. Before we get started, I have a few housekeeping items to share with you. First of all, this session is being recorded, and excuse me, as I said, there are a few housekeeping items. So you will receive an email with a link to the replay later today. And I want to encourage you to log your questions as you have them throughout the broadcast by clicking on the question mark up at the top of your screen. And we'll address those questions at the end of the session today. I want to introduce Kelly Grappler. She's the Deputy CEO of Iowa Lakes Regional Water in Spencer, Iowa. She's going to get us started. First, I'm a little concerned that I'm not seeing any slides. There we go. There's Kelly's camera. And
yes. Very wild, actually. There we go. That looked better. I felt like I was in one of those museums. Where you
there
have
we go.
the
And
mirrors,
now
right?
We should be getting our slides here momentarily.
Yeah. Do you want me to go ahead and get started while this? Oh, there they
Now
come.
here we go.
Excellent. Well, thanks, Gina. First, I want to thank CoBank for its sponsorship of this webinar. They are a true partner in ARWO, just as they are to many of you. So we thank CoBank for support for our work. Today's webinar is a popular topic, and we have a lot of people joining us today who may not be familiar with ARWO. We are Voice and Knowledge Exchange regional water and wastewater organizations. We are building a community to advance the interests of those organizations. So what is regional water organization? Regional water organizations are unique. They stretch across multiple political jurisdictions and serve customers who are often spread over rural areas, suburban as well. Many of the communities served by regional water organizations have been historically served and underserved. Regional water organizations benefit from economies of scale and often are able to be innovative as their big city counterparts. Many are structured in a way that allows them to stay out of the local politics and qualify for financial help from numerous sources. These characteristics frequently result in lower rates for our customers and, importantly, a more stable balance sheet. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce today's first speaker. With us from Delco Water in Delaware, Ohio, is Zach Lohr. Zach is Keena's handler, decorated U.S. Marine Corps veteran, and he has been training and handling working canines for more than a decade, from dual-purpose explosive detection dogs to single-purpose single scent detection. Employed by Delco Water beginning in March of 2023, happy anniversary, and by October 2023, he and Keena have graduated from their water leak detection canine training. Keena is a 5-year-old Belgian Malone. Oh my gosh, these doggies! I tell you what, I'm gonna have him help me there, Zach. She is a water system technology specialist with Delco. Zach, please take it away, and please do correct me on the breed of Keena.
Yeah, so she's a 5-year-old Belgian Malinois.
Thank you.
All right, so try and give some examples and kind of spread the wealth to everybody on here. You can go to the next slide. We'll cover all this, so go ahead and go to the next slide there. So one of the ways, can you go back one? One of the ways we got started doing this, we've actually partnered up with a company to do some satellite studies. This was a lot of our work in the first year, going out and searching our mains. We used a company that used satellite technology to come up with an algorithm that could tell the difference in ground saturation between actually treated water and untreated water. um, it generated about 150 work orders. We only did a small portion of our system for it just to try it out. Created about 150 work orders for it. Lots and lots of time on the ground. It did not prove to have any success to it. We did not find any out of those 150, so we'd since moved on from that. It's good training, good experience to get out there, and especially during the first year of actually working, getting out on the system and getting your dog into the groove of things. Next slide.
We're working on getting that slide advanced.
Okay. So hopefully everybody can kind of see the slides here. This one's time is money. Here in Central Ohio, there's a lot of different ways that people, if there's a leak out there, there's a lot of different ways you can find it. For example, a leak detection company here in Central Ohio, they're pretty expensive, and I'm sure it's that way across the board across the United States. Ranging between 150 to $500 an hour, and that's even if they find the leak. This example I'm about to talk about here was actually a company, a very large customer of ours, that had their own private water system. They actually reached out to me, put me on the schedule, scheduled them, 3 or 4 days out or so. Then went over there and we ended up finding a leak. But once I got there, everybody that watched Keena and I get to the spot, she found a location and indicated, and it took her about a minute and a half. And that's when they told me, they all started laughing. That's when they told me, uh, they spent the previous day before that searching for that leak for 6 hours with one of these leak detection companies. So they'd already paid the money for the leak detection company, but since I was booked after them, they went ahead and went on with that. So they didn't tell me how much they spent, but I know they spent a pretty penny on finding that, and Keena found it in a minute and a half. Had I maybe got there first, could have saved them a lot of money. Um, this could really speed up the process if the conditions are right. Next slide. So this slide is something that a lot of canine handlers and detection handlers know all too well. It's called trusting your dog. We had recently just got some brand new acoustic leak detection equipment. I was so eager to go out there and use that. This was actually at a customer's house. I was out there once before. We'd found one leak, um, and they had it excavated and had it fixed. And the contractor actually called me and said, "Hey, it's still leaking." So we we'd found one leak, so that's great. But if had I had checked the rest of the system, just used my dog, I put the dog up after that, put the dog away, and once the contractor excavated and found that the meter was still turning, the low flow indicator was still turning on there, we actually went back out. So here I was using $30,000 leak acoustic leak detection device for an hour or so, 45 minutes, trying to listen for this, and wasn't getting very lucky. So if I would have just started with my four-legged tool called Keena, I would have been out of there in about 30 seconds for the second one. I went and got her from the truck, searched the rest of the line from the first leak to the house, And as you can see in the picture there was probably about maybe a foot of leaves covering the ground. And she actually indicated right up there by the house. So she found it in about 30 seconds and wasted about an hour of my time using the acoustic leak detection equipment. So had I just trusted my dog from the get-go, something that I know has worked for the last year and a half to almost 2 years, it would have been a quick 30-minute search and I would have been on my way. So trust your dog. You know, sometimes the $30,000 piece of equipment's not as good as that four-legged piece of equipment in your truck. Next slide. So this one, this is a big one with anybody looking for a dog, or if you're interested in it. Um, I don't know if you can see, you know, to the right's a screenshot from our GIS, our map system over here. And then on the left, what you're seeing is a thermal image that I shot with our drone. Um, we knew we had a leak over there. I got contacted by an employee, and you know, two different employees went out there and located two different areas. So it was kind of confusing. And, you know, we're talking about a 30-foot section of area coverage here. We had a 2-inch line running through the middle of that yard there, and then we had a 6-inch line running down the side of it towards that building. And one person marked the 6-inch line. One person marked to it would have been the east of the 2-inch line. So I brought Keena out, and Keena marked right in the middle. So those the red arrows that you're seeing are the two employees that we had, and the yellow arrow that you're seeing on the screen is where Keena actually indicated. Now, why does that matter? It matters because had we have dug on the first employee's find, we would have dug up a 6-inch line that wasn't leaking. You know, could take hours to get down to that and figure out, well, you're wrong. Now you got to backfill. If we would have dug where employee number two found it, same situation. So, you know, having the accuracy there and being able to pinpoint with the canine, this is where it comes in huge. They come and dig one time and they find the leak. So that's exactly what this image is showing. Obviously, you can see, you know, looking at the thermal imagery, we got a leak there, but where exactly is it? And if you know, your map and your GIS system's up to date and you know exactly where your lines are, you could have proved that, but sometimes we're not like that. So, you know, having a dog pinpoint the actual location saves time, saves money, and you're in and out of the job a lot quicker, and you're not digging up unnecessary holes. Next slide. This was a good scenario here. Ken and I were, you know, just brand new on the job, and everybody's a little skeptical about whether the dog works and whether it's going to be a good fit for the system. So this was a good one. We have, you know, first of all, our distribution team's an extremely well-oiled machine. They're out there finding leaks and fixing leaks every day, and you know they're finding these things pretty good. So they were kind of, you know, on the fence with the dog. Does it actually work? And you know they are, you know, like I said, our distribution team's amazing. This specific scenario here actually proved to be that it wasn't a leak on us. So as you can read there, we got called out to this commercial property here where we had an 8-inch line running down the property line, and it looked, you know, we got our measuring tape out and kind of measured them, and it looked kind of like they were in 20-foot segments, which would, you know, maybe indicate that we had two joints popped or something or slowly leaking. So Keena and I went out there, and she actually indicated on 4 different areas. Our distribution members found two of the areas, but we actually found a couple more with the dog. After doing some, further investigation, um, looking into it, talking to the maintenance guys there at the commercial building, we ended up finding out that it was actually their irrigation system that was leaking. So every time their sprinklers would come on, these irrigation heads were not popping up, and they were just flooding the ground and actually continuing to run after the irrigation system was off. So this right here was a good win for us, with not going and potentially digging up somebody's yard for no reason. And when she found 4, that was what really, stuck it into big time investigation mode. So it's a pretty good win there with not having to dig. Sometimes the dog's going to be, a better tool than the human. So next slide, please. So this one, public relations. I mean, not only is the dog great for, finding leaks and saving water, but we go to a lot of events throughout our community, and our community loves Keena. Um, she's great at work. You can bring your dog into, the work scenario, and everybody loves to see the dog. It puts a smile on all the employees' faces when you go out in the public and they see you walking around with a dog. Everybody wants to pet the dog. Everybody wants to play with the dog, and it's just, not only is it a time money saver for the league side of it, but it's also great for public relations. And we've been we go to, probably 15 events a year with Kina, so it's a good PR stunt. Next slide. There's my contact info. If anybody has questions about any of what I covered, or if you have any questions about canine program or how you get started or anything like that, feel free to shoot me an email or call me there at my office phone and leave a message, and I'll get right back to you. Other than that, thank you very much. Appreciate you.
Thank you very much, Zach. A lot of great input and advice and information. If any of you have anything at all, and a great history that he has with the detection dogs, and so please do reach out to Zach if you have any further questions. Thank you again. Now we'll go ahead and introduce our next speaker, which is Sean Griffin. Uh, he is with the Davidson Water in Lexington, North Carolina. He is a longtime employee of Davidson Water, working with Puddles for more than 4 years, and continues to work in the meter department. Sean.
How you doing? So I mainly want to talk about what running puddles looks like for people that don't know or have never seen a scent dog ran. So, and then I'll carry on to a funny story and scenario that she ran into, and then I'll end with some difficulties that I wish I knew before I started this job. So then, with Puddles, she's in the truck. She rides around with me all day. When she goes for a job, she has a special leash, a special collar. Her vibrating collar for safety hazards. And then, so those leashes and collar are only used to run a leak detection job. So she knows the difference whether she's getting out to use the bathroom or to do a job. And then she has a like 3-step phrase of words that gets her in work mode, and she immediately starts screaming because she's happy to work. And then I'll get her out, and then I'll run her where I've prepped and done my prep work and located where the line runs. I'll run her from the meter to the house, back to the meter. And if she doesn't locate the line or the water leak, then I'll put her up in the truck. If she indicates, which is the dig, she'll dig the ground until I tell her or I pull her away or reward her. So then she'll indicate. I'll put her back up in the truck. I'll dig up with a shovel to expose the line, and then if I see the leak in the line that's visible and I'm guaranteed that she found the leak, then I get her back out of the truck, bring her back to the spot. She re-indicates, I reward her, then she gets put back in the truck. So I prefer to 100% confirm that she found the leak before she gets her reward to keep her from giving me false indications. And then another funny story, this carrying on to the funny story, and I'm better with questions. That's where I shine, in my opinion. So we'll follow that up after. But a funny story is I was walking her into our office in the just like normal. So say hey to everybody in the morning and whatnot. And I was just walking her and going back to what Zach says, trusting your dog. I was walking her and she starts indicating on our property in front of our door that all of our employees walk by in the morning. And I didn't have her in work mode, so I quickly pulled her away and then kind of researched a little bit, and the ground was a little soggy. So then I told everybody, or I told some people in the office, I was like, I think Puddles found a leak out in the yard. And then they were like, no, that's irrigation area. That's irrigation. So then I started thinking about it. And then, so then the leak, eventually a week later, the leak showed itself and was getting bigger. And then I was like, well, I used that as an example to show anybody who hasn't seen Puddles work. We brought everybody out in the office to run her on the job. And then she indicated on the same spot she did when she wasn't in work mode, but she smelled chlorine. So she indicated on that spot. I dug it up, exposed the leak, brought her back, rewarded her. Everybody got to see her work that hasn't, and it was a good learning experience for our employees. But it also was amazing to see her find something that all of our water employees walk by every day and then wasn't aware of. So that's just a situation where like trusting your dog, like yeah, she was right. I should have just been like, no, she's right. There's a leak here. So we eventually found it and exposed it and fixed it ourselves. But that was just a funny story that I thought was she's even trying to work when she's not in work mode. So and then a lot of some of the difficulties that I'm running into and have ran into for the past 4 years that I wish I knew was really under because so what we do with Puddles is we mainly do customer leaks. So anything past our meter onto customers' property. And a lot of difficulties that I underestimated was the obstructions, how clean people keep their yards, the amount of trees that are right beside water lines, um, various and just various things that could stop that leak from being as strong as needed to be found or even reroute it to an area that isn't even near the water line. So kind of the situation is you once you get the dog trained and you're confident that they're doing their job, you still have to think about all the difficulties you could run into and not to be discouraging about doing it, but just be aware that you're not going to show up to every job and find that leak. And then I'm down for questions after this, but that's my short spiel so we can stay on time frame.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it, Sean. Puddles.
Yep.
I actually remember Puddles was when Puddles was discussed from the by the company of adopting. I can't believe this much time has gone by already. Unreal. So thank you again, Sean, for your time. And again, if anyone has any questions, please be sure to reach out to him. Finally, we're going to hear from Elisa Jones of Canine Water Leak Detection University. She works closely with Carrie Kessler, the trainer who pioneered water leak detection dogs training in the United States. Water and wastewater laboratory since 1999, and Ohio Class 3 water and wastewater operator license she holds. Training dogs since 1996 and competing in dog sports since 2018. Knows work dog sports judge as well. Elisa, please take it away.
Hello, thank you for attending. So what I'm going to talk about is the training of the water leak detection dog. You can go to the next slide. So we have put together, Carrie and put together calling Canine Water Leak Detection University. And it is actually a online program. that you can train your own dog, or you can contract us to train your dog and do transfer training.
We're working on that, Elisa. There's a little bit of a delay in our system.
So we're here to educate canine teams in water leak detection so they can be stewards of our valuable resource. Slide. Training the dog for the unseen water leaks. And this is a great representation of what is happening. So what is Canine Water Leak Detection University? It is a collaboration of leading detection trainers, dog handlers, and utility operators from around the country. We've created this high demand handlers, innovative, cost-effective way of detecting water leaks. Training is online, in person, and is tailored specifically for your skill level and the dog's skill level. Who can benefit? Utilities and individuals interested in acquiring, training, and handling a water leak detection dog, whether the canine has been working for years or thinking about becoming involved. Our custom course strengthen skills, improve dog effectiveness. We also welcome handlers who are seeking troubleshooting for any problems dog may be having. I just worked with Carrie Vessel. She was doing some false alerting, and Canine Water Leak Detection University program, because it did not exist when Vessel was trained, and she is well on her way, and the false alerting is in her rear view mirror. Next slide. So we have programs, utilities that work canine leak detection program. We, for a private person that wants to train a detection dog, we also have programs for continuing education. So we can start by assessing the dog. We can do a handler assessment. What is your aptitude as the handler? Who's going to be the handler? What it takes. Then we move into the handler only portion where we talk about how does odor move and the terminology used in the industry. Leash handling skills, a big part of it. Next slide. We also offer, while this slide is coming up, we also offer the dog and handler courses where the dogs learn the exercise, the dog learns how to find the treated water, the handler work together as a team With driving, the best skill is practice. So there's practice on working the dog. We talk about efficient ways to navigate large search areas, and then we have ongoing training. We can customize courses, exercises to continue those skills. It's a use it or lose it. Not that the dog forgets how to do it, but it keeps those skills sharp. Um, we can share videos if you have a problem with a specific search, what went wrong. We can break that search down for you. Next slide, please. We can, if you're a utility and you want to get a dog, and we can train that dog for you. We can help you we can collaborate with you to find that right dog. We can board and train that dog. We can do the transfer training and transfer of ownership. We will have a minimum 2-week transfer in-person training to help you get to know the dog. Then we will be with you for 3 months after that to help you through video evaluation, training, and make sure everything is on track. Usually it takes about 20 to 25 weeks for that to happen, and that excludes the 3 months training. And of course, it's going to be a little higher next, please, than if you do it yourself. With the want to train your own dog, then we will evaluate your dog to see if it has the aptitude to do water leak detection. And once we figure that out, then we will put you in the handler school and the dog and handler school, and you can work on training. And because not the training costs, because you will be doing that at your house, it is a little less. It also takes 20 weeks. I actually like this method of you and your dog because you're the one bonding with the dog, and you have that 20 to 25 weeks of bonding with the dog. And you can actually 10 weeks old. We have put 5 dogs through this you and your dog program, and they are all working successfully, about a 90 to 95 to 98% success. Next slide. So we also have courses for a seasoned dog with a new handler. If your utility owns a dog and you get a new handler, like what happened with Vest, then we can customize coursework to keep you guys on the street for water, and those courses help keep the dog engaged, but not feeling overwhelmed. And you could have a seasoned handler and it's the same way, customize that coursework, train the new dog. Next slide. Continuing education. This is what we believe is really important. Currently in the process, think about ongoing training. For utility operators, on training is a must. For any person, ongoing training is a must. So you want to keep your skills sharp and on point. We offer training scenarios. We can offer feedback of your search. It is a program that is customized needs. Next slide. Leak detection is the future. The actively trained canine team is revolutionizing leak detection, equipped to be non-invasive, swiftly pinpoint leaks, and offer unparalleled accuracy and efficiency. And if you have any questions, make sure you them at the end, and that's all I have.
Well, I want to thank all of our presenters this morning or this afternoon, excuse me, and Elisa, Zach, and Sean, and also to Kelly for helping us to moderate this session today. So as a reminder, if you have questions for our panelists, and we do have several that have come in, please click on the question mark on your screen and they'll come directly to me and we'll get those answered for you. I know we also have another, at least one other regional water organization on the line that has a dog, and I'm sure that there may be some others. Let's do a quick poll before we get started on the questions. And remember, if you have a question, put it with the question mark. So, do you currently have a water leak detection dog? And are you working on it? Yes, no. Did we have one at one time and went another direction? Okay, it looks like we've got a number of responses there. I'm going to go ahead and close the poll and share the results at this point. So there are a number of organizations on the phone or people on the phone whose organization has a water leak detection dog, and a lot of them don't. But interestingly, we've got at least one that's working on it. So that's good to know. Let's go ahead and take some questions. I know early on we got a really good question for Zach. Zach, if you could join us with your camera. One of our attendees says, great job. How do you think using a leak detection dog changes the way Delco approaches water loss and infrastructure maintenance moving forward? It's a two-parter. And do you have bigger goals for the future?
Yes, it's a really good question. Having a dog out there finding leaks that's dedicated to finding leaks every single day. It changes the game big time. Like Sean said, we do a lot of customer side service lines. When you're able to offer that service to the customer and find their leak for them, where they would have to pay a company to come out and spend hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars to find that, and this dog can do it in 2 minutes, 3 minutes, depending on how difficult the situation is. It's huge. And then as far as for the water utility as well, you have a dedicated leak detection team out there surveying your system and finding these leaks. Whereas before, a lot of these leaks don't come to the surface. And the only way that the leak gets reported at that point is if it does come to the surface, or if you do have a customer calling and saying that, hey, I have no water. Well, this dog can actually find what's leaking underground, and it really changes the whole structure of doing some proactive and preventative work on the front end instead of being reactive on the back end. As far as bigger goals with the dog, there's a lot that goes into getting one of these dogs up and going and staying successful. But I don't want to spoil the surprise just yet. But yes, there are a lot of bigger goals, and when it comes to stretching. Right now, we travel all over the state of Ohio and find leaks for people. So there's some bigger goals as far as the leak dog and the detection team for sure. Good question.
Okay, that's great. Thank you so much for answering that for us. Um, so we had a question about the dogs themselves. Assuming that the dogs go home with the handlers, right? How are the handlers compensated for that by the utility? And I think this is a question that really anybody could answer. Sean, why don't you take that?
Yes, so we during the training process that was being evaluated, and we finally settled on, instead of switching me to salary or anything, we just add 10 hours of guaranteed overtime to my paycheck. So that kind of gives me a little bump and kind of compensates for the time I spend outside of work to take care of puddles. I don't know how. I guess I'm kind of interested in various answers on that. If anybody else wants to chime, or Zach wants to chime in quick.
Yeah, so I'm a salary based employee. There's no extra compensation. I actually owned Kina before the job, but there's no extra compensation on my end. But Delco does pretty much pay for everything for the dog. If I need to go on vacation somewhere, or if we have vet bills, food. We actually trained Kina. She's not able to drink chlorinated water, so Delco supplies filters for my house and filters at work as well. So we don't actually give her chlorinated water. So Delco pretty much takes care of the dog, and I just pretty much just puppy sit her.
Yeah, same as us. Davison Water takes care of all her bills and food, and then also Pose does not drink chlorinated water. It's a good idea to never let them drink chlorinated water.
Well, that all makes good sense, I think. Um, what about the false positive rate for both of those dogs?
I can answer that just because like I said before, I don't give her her reward, which is fetch. You can either do food or ball, whichever one they prefer. And Puddles lives and dies for playing fetch. So I don't reward her with the ball until I expose that water line and see it's leaking myself. And that has, for the past, we had some false indications the first 6 months. And then the last 3.5 years, I've had no false indications with that system.
So I'm a little bit different on that side. We're at probably somewhere around a 98 to 99% success rate. She hasn't falsed on me. She has, when it comes to falsing, sometimes the dog will alert somewhere where she smells the chlorine come to the surface. Even though the water's not came to the surface, she'll smell where the chlorine comes to the surface. And that's happened once or twice before, and that goes into the 98 to 99% success rate. However, the dog's not wrong and not false alerting, because when the area is excavated and there's actually a pocket of chlorinated water that actually made its way there, the dog isn't false alerting. It was just alerting where the most concentrated chlorine came to the surface. So even though we add that to the negatives on the 98, 99 point success rate, it's still not, in my opinion, it's not a false alert, because she was doing exactly what she was trained to do.
Great, thank you. Thank you very much for that. So one of the questions is really about how, actually gotten a few questions about this, how you promote your dog. So what kind of marketing is done to make sure that your customers know about this service and all that.
I can answer for us at least. My work vehicle is pretty much a driving billboard. It's got Keena's picture all over it. It's got QR codes on it. People can scan. It's got our phone number on it. If they have questions, they want to learn more about it, it takes the QR code takes them to our website. A lot of our calls come from, sometimes other utilities, sometimes contractors working around the area. Word of mouth spread pretty good, and a big portion of it comes from our meter techs going out and doing some preliminary investigations, to determine whether it is a service line leak or not. And then we kind of schedule that way. So, and then once one neighbor gets it, the other neighbor has a leak, and then before you know it, everybody's calling you and wanting you to come out and search theirs as well. So, pretty much word of mouth. I mean, it's, just here in like Delaware, Ohio, I mean, it spread pretty fast, honestly.
Sean, did you have anything to add to that, or?
We actually asked that question, so
Uh,
to
excuse
someone in
me.
the room. Well, yeah, we were curious about it ourselves, how
Yeah.
they promoted, and we did think about the truck as well, but then we've had some customers be a little like like say they have a leak and not have a leak, and then we've showed up and then they're just like surrounding my truck, tapping on the glass, wanting to see the dog. So it's like it kind of felt kind of weird to be known where she is at all times, because I've had multiple interactions with like customers being a little too intrusive. But yeah, we were the ones that asked that question. So our promotion is pretty much word of mouth, and our local leak detection American, or like the ones that are finding leaks with gas, they don't have good words about us because we're taking money from them apparently. So like word of mouth is like 50-50 for us. We have customers that we help, and then we have them counteracting the good words. So our promotion is when customers come in, they talk about their leak, we offer the service, they spread the word, because we have a bunch of customers in the system that were like, yeah, she was great, she's popped out, found it in 30 seconds, I dig it up, I can leave in like 10 minutes, and they have their leak found. So it's like we have multiple customers that will vouch for. But
That's great. And it's so interesting that your dog has paparazzi.
yeah, it was awkward to deal with, that's for sure.
Yeah. Stay on the line, Sean, because I've got another question you can go ahead and answer. And that is, and you may have covered this in your presentation, but where where was your dog trained, and where did you learn together, or how did that work?
Yes, so we have a local trainer called Cultured Canines, and she trains. Her main training is cadaver dogs, and she does bed bugs a little bit, but she's pretty much in obedience. She's all around, but job wise, she only trained one water dog, and she was local. Someone that worked for Davison Water trained dogs as well, and then she knew her through the training process, and she was a really good person. So she was like, get her to train puddles, find puddles, and all that. And it wasn't like you just. One thing I'll say too is you can't just buy a dog and make it find leaks. It's we went through about 4 dogs and we settled on puddles because we wanted something that would do her job for 8 hours and stay happy and motivated, and then also go to schools, PR, promote, and that's why we chose the breed a chocolate lab, because they are very friendly with multiple people. So we chose the breed based on like personality and being friendly in a group setting.
Great. Zach, did you have any did you want to contribute to that or?
I think Sean covered it pretty well. I'm a little bipartisan on the whole breed thing, but yeah, I mean he hammered it pretty good.
So the girl that trained Puddles, she lives and dies for Belgian Malinois. So it was really hard for her not to train a Belgian Malinois, but it's mainly because they are very hyper in social settings, and labs are more calm and personal in social settings. That was the only reason we didn't go with the Belgian Malinois.
Yeah, it's handling a Belgian is definitely a job for itself.
Yeah.
She doesn't shut off. It's 100% work all the time. We go home and she's just got 200% energy. I've been doing it I've had a Belgian in my house for the last 12 year or 14 years now. So it takes a special handler and a special person to be able. It's a lot of dog. It's a lot of dog to be able to handle a Belgian, but their drives where it's at.
All right,
Great.
working wise, Belgian Malinois, you can't go wrong.
Well, there's another question that just dovetails right into this, and that's all about how many days a week your dogs work, and what about how many hours a week are really active working?
So I'll answer a little bit of that. We're full time here, so we're out actively searching our system every day, whether it's with the dog or whether it's with other methods. But the other methods also include the dog. So if we do have an area of concern, and I'm searching with a different method other than Kina, then she gets used as well to use as confirmation, along with our acoustic leak detection, along with our infrared drone, has thermal capabilities as well. So we kind of come at it with 3 or 4 different angles. And the dog usually, like if we're out there searching and we find an area of concern, the dog gets used as well. Um, and then the customer side, obviously, uh, however many of those come in a week, we try and get them done that week. And if sometimes we're booked up, sometimes we get 3, 4, 5 of those searches a day. So we're pretty busy with the dog. We have plenty of work to do with the dog. We have, I think, just over like 24, 2,500 miles of pipeline that we try and go out and search, trying to be on the proactive and preventative side of it, and that's kind of how we approach it here at Delco.
I'm a little bit different situation because I did work for I worked for Davis Mar 2 years before we hired and bought Puddles, and then so I still do my daily duties in the meter department. I go around maintaining meters throughout the system full time, and then as the work orders come in, I'll call the customers, ask the necessary questions, set up an appointment, and then throughout the day, I'll go to that appointment and do what I need to do, and then go back to my daily duties in the meter department. So the first 2 years we were doing about 3 a week steady, and she had a good success rate. Then it slowed down a decent amount these last 2 years.
Great. So we have time for just one more question, and I'm going to take the liberty of asking it, and very quickly. Could you each just share one lesson learned or one thing that you wished you'd known before getting started with water leak detection dog? And Elisa, this might be a question you would answer as well.
I'll go first. Because I also run a dog, and I guess I was not prepared in my area, in my experience. They are not digging as fast as what I can do the searches. So sometimes I'm left not knowing if it's a confirmed leak or not for 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks. So
I agree with Lisa. Sometimes you get that. I think one of the biggest things that kind of opened my eyes is that it does work. We've proven it. We have upwards of probably 70 some different confirmations right now. It works, and it's kind of mind blowing to go into it, not knowing how well it's going to work. I know there's a lot of people out there that are really interested in this, and will the dog get enough work, and will the dog actually work and find leaks? And um, you know, we have Excel sheets, and we track everything, and I can 100% confirm that the dog does work. It's a great tool to add for sure.
So a lesson I learned is I deal with a lot of the verbal like confirmations with customers over the phone, and I kind of ask. So I like to isolate the leak to the yard. Most houses have a cutoff valve in the foundation wall, crawl space, and everything. I want to know that it's in the yard before I bring the dog out to search for the leak in the yard. So a lot of the talks over the phone and stuff, customers could not be aware of a cutoff valve or not even know what it is, but tell you, yes, they have it. Yes, they've isolated it. So the lesson I learned is just confirm it yourself on arrival so that you know your dog isn't searching for something that could be in the house and you're wasting time and giving the dog an unfair chance.
Okay. Well, I think that's all we have for you today. It's all, just about all of our time. Thank you again for attending. Thank you again to all of our speakers. We do have a number of questions that we were not able to get to, so I will try to circulate those among the speakers, and we'll get some responses back to you on your questions. Um, Again, watch for an email from us probably today with the replay for today's session. And we hope to host you again for another session in the future. Have a great day.